Hey yo, hi there, hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying eating your fair share of flowers like this kangaroo. They look pretty tasty, not gonna lie. Oh me, oh my, am I obsessed with solar quartz watches or what? Maybe a smidge. And on top of that, I think I have a minor obsession with finding the perfect, simple, everyday kind of watch. Something that says, hey dog, why not pick me up? I can handle your adventures. I can handle a lazy evening on the couch. I can handle if the cat drools on me and you need to rinse me off. No worries, my dude. That kind of watch. And rest assured, the piece on deck today is decidedly that. The latest and perhaps greatest from RZE, the Urbanist. If someone plopped me down with the express task of blurting out every wish for a field watch I could think of, and then decided to make a watch out of my ramblings, it's likely the result would be something like the Urbanist. So suffice to say up front, I dig this little puppy. And it is a little puppy, as you'll see. So before we get deeper in the weeds or like whatever's out in the field, let's don our spectacles. We've got a diameter of 36 millimeters, a lug to lug of 42 millimeters, a thickness of 11 millimeters, a lug width of 18 millimeters, a weight of 42 grams on my preferred strap, and a water resistance of 100 meters. The baller bits, the size / dimensions. I just listed them out for you, and if your arm is a ghostly tendril creeping out of the ether like mine, or even if it isn't, then you're probably already vibing with those specs. I'll reiterate that they were / are a big draw here, and if I'm not mistaken, this is probably the smallest piece yet released from RZE. With that classic diameter and short lug to lug, it's extremely likely you too could enjoy this piece without a worry. I think for a field piece too, it's especially nice to have something that doesn't get in the way, that tucks under the cuff, is there when you need it, and not when you don't. The design. I'm a big fan of RZE's balance of subtlety, risk, and utility with their approach to design. Consider the fact that the case is very distinct, brutish in a small way, with all its various facets, bevels, angles, etc. You even have a bold decision to DLC coat the crown to make it black, which I love by the way, but to balance against these stronger cues, we have a very simple traditional field watch dial scheme with Arabic numerals in a 12 and 24 hour configuration, a nice minute track, a simple sword style handset, a single color dial, albeit textured, and all white accents. Boom. Even the branding is simple with only the logo at 12 integrated with the 24-hour markers. Everything is harmonious while still being unique. We know this piece is from RZE, the design language is there, but we're not bashed over the head with oddness either. Kudos. The movement. There's a solid solar Miyota movement installed in this piece. It's somewhat unique among solar watches I've dealt with because the cell gathers energy from around the vertical perimeter of the dial, around that rehaut, rather than through the dial, as is the case with most solar watches. This setup allows for the dial itself to not have the translucency that some folks don't like on more affordable solar pieces. On paper, I dig this choice a lot, and in practice, I'm still mostly on board, but I will have more to say in a second. And with that bit of hinting, let's jump into the bugaboos for the Urbanist. That movement. That's right. A little of column A, a little column B here with regard to the movement. I invite other folks who have this piece to chime in, but I'd be remiss not to mention this movement has stopped on me multiple times. Now, full disclosure, I'm not outside much with this piece, and it gets a lot of time indoors, on the desk, in the watch box, etc. So perhaps I'm largely to blame with the stoppage. But when it's had a charge for a while, I'd normally assume it would last at least a month or two without issue, regardless of the light exposure. Not the case. I'm spoiled by my solar G-Shocks and Seiko, I reckon. If you're largely an indoor goblin like myself, just be mindful about this factor. You'll need to make the effort to keep it charged, potentially. I do think it's trickier to get a solid charge with the way the solar cell is oriented on this one, coming through the sides on the perimeter of the dial. The included strap. Up front, I don't expect a ton from straps at this lower price point, but I will keep it brief and say I'm not a huge fan of the stock strap that comes with the Urbanist. I think it's thoughtfully designed, has complementary hardware on the NATO style band, but the overall feeling of it is flimsy. You obviously want something light to go with this piece, but it has a cheap kind of fluffy feel to it to me. Not a huge issue to replace, of course. I've been rocking an 18mm Erica's original Marine Nationale strap a fair amount, and I ordered the 3-pack of Velcro straps RZE put out after the release as well. I'd recommend those, although I wish they'd sell a solid black version. Maybe they will someday. The crown shakeup. This note is another one I'll qualify with the fact that RZE still maintains that the water resistance is a solid 100 meters, and that they have a 2-year guarantee and a pledge to stand by this piece as a quote-unquote lifetime purchase. That being said, I wasn't super pleased that they changed the crown from a screw down to a push-pull just before the release after their Kickstarter campaign. If I recall correctly, there were some QC issues with the watch with the original crown design, so they opted to go the push-pull route to address those. I am glad they took action to ensure the build quality was up to snuff. I'm sure it'd be fine for a dunk here and there, and almost assuredly for rain and such, but I know I always feel comfier with the screw down crown, especially on utility driven pieces like this one. Not a deal breaker by any means though, homies. Plenty of field pieces at much higher price points. Example, the Hamilton Khaki Auto. I wear that one all the time. That also features a push-pull crown, to be very fair. Alright, I feel like I've come off a little harsh. Not my intention, honestly. I would very much recommend the Urbanist. This video is not sponsored. I'm just a fan. If you don't live in a cave deep beneath the Earth's crust like I do, I imagine you won't encounter any problems with this piece. It's a truly unique offering, a titanium do-it-all watch that's quite a looker, very characterful, yet unobtrusive and utility-driven. I'm a big fan of what RZE is going after, and only see them getting even more of a foothold in the microbrand space as time wears on. I know I'm looking forward to whatever they release next. Alright homies, that's my bit. Let me know what you think in the comments. Always keen to discuss. I hope you're having a rad day wherever you are. Thanks for spending some of that time with me. Take care.